So, David, members of the major religious organisations, how are they conspiring together towards a global agenda, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think that 99.9% of people in the religions are conspiring together. But if you go high enough to those that ultimately control those religions, that's when the conspiracy comes in. And very, very few understand those connections, because it's essential to the conspiracy unfolding unchallenged for even those that are making contributions to it every day not to realize that that's what they're doing. So they structure everything, and religions are exactly the same, as pyramids, compartmentalized pyramids. So if you look at any organization today, including Christianity or Islam or any of it, they're structured as pyramids, and pyramids within pyramids. So the vast majority of people are in the body of the pyramid, and they have been manipulated to believe that their religion is true and their God is the only God, and all that stuff. And their truth is the only truth, and everyone else must be wrong. And then you keep going up and up and up and up. And then right at the top of the pyramid, you've got the tiny few people who are actually orchestrating the whole deal. And they understand that the religion, the religious belief in whatever religion it is just a front for something else. And that something else is the something else behind at least all the major religions, a lot of the non-major religions. So Christianity and Islam and Judaism and all that stuff ultimately come from the same source and are controlled by the same source. So if you go back to the ancient world and you pick up the sun god, moon goddess religion, which was predominant around the world, you would have Christians and Muslims and stuff who would reject the goddess, sun god religion. But actually their religions are just another version of it. They're just hidden behind different names and behind different structures, but behind it's the same thing. If you look at the way they depicted, for instance, just a throwaway thing, the way they depicted the sun god and the moon goddess in the Middle East thousands of years ago, it's the international symbol of Islam today, the moon and the star, the sun. If you look at the background to Christianity, you see that Jesus was just another version of the sun god, like Mithra and Tammuz in Babylon, and so many others, Dionysus, Bacchus. The same story was told about them thousands of years before Christianity that was told about Jesus. They just put the story in another historical setting and changed the names. And Jesus is a symbol for the sun. This is why what was said about him and the way he's depicted is a mirror of the way they depicted Horus, the symbol of the sun in ancient Egypt, how they did for Tammuz, symbol of the sun in ancient Babylon. And wherever you go, you find that these religions are different versions of the sun god, moon goddess religion, which is the religion of those who are conspiring to bring about this Orwellian state. Then you go a step further and you look into the rituals of Freemasonry and the background to Freemasonry and other secret societies that connect into it, like the Jesuits, etc. Just look at the Jesuits' logo. It's the sun. And you find again and again in Freemasonry that one of their prime symbols, if not the prime symbol, is the sun. So what you're looking at within the secret societies is another version of the ancient sun god, moon goddess religion, which is their focus of worship, which is the same focus of worship when you look behind the cover story of these major religions. And yet the major religions, certainly Christianity, on the surface condemns Freemasonry and all that stuff. And yet they're all different masks on the same face. And so again, when you take the pyramids up, the compartmentalized pyramid, and you reach the top, you find that the same few, what they call elite families, interbreeding families, bloodlines, are controlling Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Freemasonry, Hinduism. You look at Hinduism again, they are worshipping the same gods from the Vedic history as is worshipped in other forms in the Western religions. And so it's one religion, including the secret societies, but the religions at the base of the pyramid, where people see them in society, are presented in a different way. But it's all the same score, and it's all the same gods that they are. And you know, you go back to the original writings for the Bible. It's not talking about a singular God. That came in the translation. They're talking about gods, and so are the Hindu religions and all the rest of it. So we're looking at the same structure of belief and worship that's packaged in different ways. And of course, once you repackage it, then you can play the different packages off against each other, dividing and rule the general population as religions fight and they argue and all this stuff over who's right and I've got the truth and you've not got the truth. And up there, of course, they're kind of on their backs with their legs in the air, absolutely in hysterics what's going on down here, because they know that it's all the same thing they're arguing about. And of course, if you look at religion, it's been used in such a massively effective way in terms of advancing this agenda. First of all, you've got divide and rule, which any small group trying to control a massive group has to divide and rule the massive group to have any chance of success. But they're also selling belief systems, which are different packages of the same belief system, actually, as I've said. And those belief systems, when you take them on, they close the mind down. And they firewall off the mind, because anything outside of the belief system must be wrong, so you won't look at it. So you turn someone into a person of tunnel vision and tunnel belief. And what we believe, we perceive. We edit reality based on what we believe, and you can see this because, you know, when you're having a conversation with someone who has a real preconceived belief about you, and you're having a conversation and you're saying things to them, and you're sitting there and you say, I never said that. I never said that. Oh, you did. Because what's happening is you are saying things, and it goes through the belief system of the receiver, the preconceived belief about you system, and it edits what's coming in by the time they consciously hear it. They are hearing what you're saying in a way that confirms and underpins their preconceived belief about you. And so once you take on a rigid belief, you edit your reality and perception through that belief. So religions are fantastic at that. And of course, the other great contribution that mainstream religion has made to this conspiracy through the centuries is being the focal point for expanding out across the world with the colonial countries and destroying, when they got in there, all the ancient verbal traditions of history, of reality, of everything that is at odds with what the conspiracy wants us to believe, in the name of things like Christianity. So Christianity goes into Africa, it goes into Australia, it goes into North America, and it destroys, or as much as it could, the thousands of years of knowledge and understanding that's been passed through that culture, and imposes upon it the rigid beliefs of Christianity, therefore taking out, because anything that was not about the rigid beliefs of Christianity, it's the devil, you know. I mean, Credo Mutwa, the Zulu shaman in South Africa, a great, great friend of mine, wonderful, wonderful man. He was beaten silly as a kid for depicting Jesus as a black man in a painting, you know. And he tells the story of how the Jesuits and all these people went into Africa, and it became a crime to talk about, and certainly to believe, the ancient African knowledge that's come through the centuries, through the shamanistic streams. That was the devil and all the rest of it. So that was a massive contribution that religion made in suppressing and destroying the ancient knowledge of reality, of history, and all the rest of it, which we really need to have access to get another fix on how we can look at the world and history in a different way, outside of the official history, which has been written simply to get people to see the world and where we've come from in a way that suits the agenda. So religion's just a fantastic weapon for this conspiracy we're talking about.